Hello everyone, it's Brandon again with Doing USA. We're back in the shop today. We're going to make a fishing tree that you can place in your lakes. Before you place anything in the lakes, make sure you check with your local wildlife department. Make sure that the things that you put in the lake are legal to be there. But anyway, so what I want to do is I want to show you what we have today. If you ever have any old cement, when you're doing a project, if you got a half a bag, or make sure you store it on a couple boards so it doesn't get hard. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a fishing tree out of that, but we need a container. And a lot of people will use a 5-gallon bucket or something, but that is not necessary when you are building a fish tree. That's not necessary. So you don't need that much weight because you're just going to hold down a few plastic pipes. They don't float. They'll hold water. They're not sealed, so they won't float. And so what I'm going to use today, because I have an old gas can that the top has been cracked on, and it's a 2-gallon gas can. It's not very big. Maybe it's about a 2-gallon gas can. I'm going to cut the top out of it, and I am going to fill it with concrete, and I'm going to show you how I can make these to where they'll set up straight in the lake. And they become excellent fish habitat. Anyway, let me follow along with me on this thing. First of all, we have our old gas tank, and like I said before, you can see the gas tank has several cracks in it. Now before you start cutting on these, especially if you cut on them with a grinding wheel, make sure that all the fumes are out of them. You can even fill them with water if you want to. This one's been empty a while. I always save and keep my caps. You never know what you're going to need that for if you lose one or whatever on another can. But you're going to need a drill with about a 1/2-inch bit in it. You're going to need some pipe, and this is just some pipe that I had laying around. You can also use this PEX pipe that you can get for about $30 at Home Depot or Lowe's. You can get about 100 foot of it. And you're going to need some cement. You're going to need a cutoff wheel in your handheld grinder. You're going to need a bucket of water, a shovel, and something to stir your cement in. And you're also going to need 2 pieces of flat metal or rebar. I suggest a couple of pieces of rebar. And they don't need to be but about 2.5, 3 feet long. 2.5 feet long is plenty. And we'll show you what we're going to do with those. We're going to have to cut one. We've got one cut. We're going to have to cut the other one. But before we do that, let's put our cement. Let's get our cement, and I'm going to place my cement in my wheelbarrow. Let me do that while we're sitting here. Now I've had this cement sitting here in the shop for probably for about a year and a half. And if you'll keep your old cement, and I have enough here to do 2 of these things, but if you'll keep your old cement in a bag, it will not absorb moisture through the concrete and get hard on you. So before I mix that, what I'm going to do is I am going to cut a piece of rebar that I have laid out here. I'm going to cut a piece, and I've got one cut, but I'm going to have to cut another one about that. I'm just going to measure it close. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to measure it. Grab my cutoff wheel, and I'm going to, guys, always use your PPE. I'm just going to shut my eyes on this one. All right, I have my 2 pieces of rebar cut. Got to lay them over here to the side, and now we're going to go in and we're going to cut the top out of this gas can. I'm going to cut the top out of this gas can. I'm going to use my cutoff wheel on my grinder to do this as well. Let me show you what I'm going to do. Like I say, always get your PPE on. Let me grab my glasses real quick. Safety glasses are a must, and probably gloves would be a good idea too. But let me show you what we're doing. We're just going to take, excuse me, and we're going to cut the top of this can out. Okay, we're through with our grinder. Now we have our container. What we're going to do, this one's got a little bit of liquid in it. Pour that out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my drill, and I am going to take my drill and see what we can do. I'm going to drill a hole right here in this side. I'm going to drill one in each side in the middle. You can put them in the corners, you can put them in the middle, it doesn't matter. It's going to go in the lake, and you're never going to see this thing again. Only the fish will. So we drill 4 holes in our container. Now, why 4 holes? Our rebar that we've cut is going to go through those holes. So when this is sunk in the lake, you have a firm base that won't tip over anywhere that you let this thing lay. So you have a firm base. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to mix our concrete, fill this with concrete, or partially fill this with concrete, and then we're going to start placing our pipes in it. It's that simple, guys. You got an old gas can? Just simply use your gas can to make a fish tree, and it doesn't take long to make these. Gets rid of your old cement. I'm going to focus over here now on my wheelbarrow. I've got my dry mix in here, and this is just quickcrete concrete. I'm going to put a little bit of water. Jet helped me get the water. Watch the short video where Jet helped me get the water for this video. I have a partner, and his name is Jet, and that dog loves messing with the water hose. Now, you don't want this thing too dry, and you don't want it too soupy. I like to mix mine where it's firm enough that when I place my pipes in it, that it will support my pipes. And as you can see, I hope you can see, this is about the consistency that you want your concrete. Let me show you. About like that right there. Make sure you chop up all the lumps. Just make it as stirred up as possible. The reason you want to stir it up because you don't want any lumps in there where your plastic pipe can't sink down in your container. Okay. Simple mix of concrete, as you can see. There's my concrete. Okay. Now, I'm going to get this out here to where you can see it, but I'm going to get it away from the shop because I don't want cement in my shop. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first things first, I'm going to place my pipes down here. I want my pipes down here, and you can use different size of tubing. I suggest you use something for the sides. I always like to hook them if you can see, I like to hook them in next to my rebar, if you can see that. They're down there. The rebar is holding these four corners in place. And I use my bigger ones. If you have bigger ones, I use them as my base. And I'm going to stick them in the four corners, as you can see. Stick them in the four corners, just to where they hold themselves. Sometimes it's a little, they don't want to act right. So you got your four corners. So I've got my four corners I'm building. Got my concrete. I've got my rebar run through in an X pattern. And now I'm going to start with my first little scoop of concrete. Okay? Now I'm going to lay this down so you can see what we're doing. I'm going to take my first little scoop of concrete. When this dries, this will secure my pipes where they are. Just put them in the corners. Won't hurt a bit. Once you get 2 or 3 scoops in there, then you will put a couple more of your poles in there, a couple more of your pipes. Put one here. Remember, you're just wanting to fish. You want something the fish will feel comfortable around, and you want something that when you fish your lure through it, it won't grab on. It won't grab on anything that we're dealing with right here. So on all of these, I'm putting my fish tree right here. And all I'm doing, now I'm going to put more concrete in my container. More concrete in my container. You're going to fill it up. You're going to fill this container up with the concrete that you have. All right, I'm not going to mix any more concrete. That is plenty. Remember, when you haul these out, if they weigh too much, they're going to be a pain in the butt. So, and I suggest when you do haul these out to the lake, that you make sure that when they get out to the lake, that you take an old piece of carpet to set them on in your boat so you don't scratch the bottom of your boat on. Alright, so we've got those set up, and we're going to add 2 more. All we're going to do is we're going to come in here to this side, and we're going to stick one right here on this side, and we're going to stick one right here on this side. Guys, all you need is about 10 pieces of tubing, and there you have it. You have your fish tree. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to end up going out, and we're going to place this out in the lake, and you'll see us doing that. And make sure when you go, you clean all the concrete off of your legs there. But that will lay flat in the water, and that right there will set up, and that'll be a perfect size for a fish tree. And we'll put that out in the lake, and we'll show you that video when we get there. Thanks guys for watching. And as always, when you're out there, get busy. Get busy. Come on, get out here and just get doing. Doing USA. Thanks guys for joining us. Hit subscribe below and like if you like this video. and we will go from there. Thank you so much.